What if the very fall you fear is actually the most beautiful beginning of your life? Near the edge of a vast, endless ocean stood a tall coconut tree, its roots buried deep in warm earth, its leaves swaying gently in the breeze. High up on one of its strongest branches hung a small coconut. From that height, it had a perfect view of the world below. Every day, it watched the ocean stretch far beyond the horizon. Sometimes the waves were calm, rolling in slowly like a peaceful lullaby. Other times they crashed wildly, roaring with a force that seemed unstoppable. The coconut also watched birds glide effortlessly across the sky, their wings cutting through the wind as if freedom was the only thing they had ever known. Everything looked alive. Everything looked free. But inside the coconut, there was a quiet fear, a deep, lingering question that refused to go away. One day it whispered to itself, "What if I fall? What if everything ends the moment I lose this branch?" That thought clung to it like a shadow. Even when the sun shone brightly and the breeze felt gentle, the fear remained. It held tightly to the branch, convincing itself that safety meant staying exactly where it was. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The coconut watched life pass by from a distance, never truly part of it, always observing, always wondering, but never daring. Then, one evening, everything changed. The wind began to rise. At first, it was just a soft rustle through the leaves, but soon it grew louder, stronger, more aggressive. The sky darkened, and the once gentle ocean turned restless. Waves crashed harder, the air thickened, and the tree began to sway. The coconut felt the branch beneath it tremble. Fear rushed in instantly. "Hold on," it told itself. "Stay strong. Don't let go. Don't fall." The wind roared even louder, shaking the tree with a force it had never felt before. Leaves tore away and flew into the air. Branches creaked under pressure. The coconut tightened its grip as much as it could, but something was changing. The hold it once trusted began to weaken. And then, in a single, uncontrollable moment, it lost its grip. It fell. Down through the rushing wind, past the swaying leaves, into the unknown below. Then, splash! It hit the cold ocean. Water surrounded it instantly. There was no branch to hold, no tree to cling to, no sense of control. "This is it," the coconut thought. "I'm gone." Fear wrapped around it like a heavy weight. Everything it had feared was happening all at once. The safety it knew was gone, and now it was alone in something vast and unpredictable. But then something unexpected happened. It didn't sink. It floated. At first, it didn't understand. The coconut remained still, waiting for the moment it would be pulled under, but it never came. Instead, the ocean that once seemed terrifying began to carry it gently. Wave after wave lifted and moved it. Confused, the coconut wondered, "Why am I not drowning? Why is this not the end?" The very thing it had feared was now holding it up. Days passed, and the ocean became less frightening. The coconut was no longer resisting. It began to notice things it had never seen before. Colorful fish swam beneath it, moving gracefully through the water. The sunsets painted the sky in shades of gold, orange, and pink, reflecting beautifully across the surface of the ocean. At night, the stars appeared brighter than anything it had ever imagined, shimmering like tiny lights guiding its path. For the first time, the coconut felt something different. Not fear, but wonder. It softly said to itself, "Maybe this fall wasn't my end. Maybe this is something else." The fear that once consumed it slowly faded, replaced by curiosity and acceptance. The ocean was no longer an enemy. It had become a guide, taking the coconut to places it could never have reached while holding on to that branch. Then, one morning, a strong wave began to rise again. The coconut felt the familiar lift,
But this time, there was no panic. Instead, it asked, almost calmly, "Where are you taking me now?" The wave carried it forward and gently placed it onto a quiet shore. The sand was warm. The sunlight felt soft and comforting. The air was still and peaceful. After the constant movement of the ocean, this place felt like rest. For days, the coconut lay there, soaking in the warmth, adjusting to its new surroundings. Then something began to change. It felt a shift within itself. Its hard outer shell, which had always felt like protection, began to crack. At first, it was subtle, almost unnoticeable, but slowly the cracks grew deeper. The coconut felt it and wondered, "Am I breaking again, or am I becoming something new?" The cracking continued until one day something incredible happened. From within the coconut, a tiny green sprout began to emerge, a new life, a new beginning. In that moment, everything became clear. The coconut finally understood. "I didn't fall," it realized. "I was planted." What once felt like loss was actually placement. What once felt like an ending was actually the start of something greater. The fall it feared so much had brought it exactly where it needed to be. Sometimes life doesn't break you, it moves you. Not every fall is a failure, and not every breaking is destruction. Sometimes the things that feel like the most painful moments in your life are actually the moments that carry you into your purpose. Life has a way of removing you from places that feel safe but keep you stuck. It shakes you, stretches you, and sometimes drops you into situations you never asked for. In those moments, it's easy to believe everything is falling apart. But what if it isn't? What if the discomfort, the uncertainty, and even the fear are all part of a hidden process? A process designed to grow you, shape you, and prepare you for something greater than you can currently see. Growth rarely feels comfortable. Transformation often looks like breaking before it becomes something beautiful. The coconut could have stayed on that branch forever, holding tightly, never falling, but it would never have become anything more. It would have remained exactly what it was, never discovering what it could become. It was the fall that changed everything. So when life feels uncertain, when things don't go as planned, and when it seems like you're losing your grip on everything familiar, don't lose faith. You are not being destroyed. You are being prepared. You are being repositioned. You are being planted. And just like that coconut, one day you will look back and realize that what you feared the most was actually the beginning of something far more beautiful than you ever imagined.